Hello, everyone. My name is Alexia Singletary, and this is my presentation on my final project on the impact of artificial intelligence on culturally responsive teaching in K through 12 education. As a Black woman teaching in Title I communities, this topic is both professional and personal to me. This project introduces the issue of AI bias and why culturally responsive teaching is essential in the schools where I work. The main goal was to explore how AI can support equity instead of unintentionally reinforcing harm. It focuses on culturally diverse Title I schools and about the growing adoption of AI tools in K 12 education. Due to the growing changes of diversity of schools and the more prevalent inclusion of technology, there is a risk of cultural and linguistic bias. So, the educational challenge that the project poses is that AI misinterprets dialect and cultural communication. The bias in training data affects students of color. There's limited culturally relevant AI feedback, and it can also widen inequities in instruction. So, when you look at the example presented on the screen, you can see exactly why culturally responsive AI matters. On the left, the student used the word asked, which is a common feature of African American vernacular English. It is not correct or uneducated incorrect or uneducated. It is part of a legitimate cultural and linguistic tradition. But on the right, you see how the AI system responds. It automatically replaces asked with ask and labels the original version as awkward. What that tells me is that the AI is not recognizing dialect, colloquial language as well. It is not considering the cultural context. It is treating a student's authentic voice as a mistake. For students of color, especially the students that I work with in Title I schools, this type of correction can feel like a judgment on who they are. It can silence their voice. It can damage confidence. And it often goes unnoticed unless the teacher is very aware of how AI works. This is exactly the kind of issue my project is designed to address. AI has power, but if it is not monitored for cultural awareness, it can reinforce bias and widen inequities. This example shows why we need tools like the Equity Monitoring Dashboard to help teachers catch these patterns and protect the integrity of our students' language and identity. I am a language arts teacher, so obviously I would correct this incorrect use of a word, but I would also honor the culture and the dialect in which my student is most likely speaking in, and I would let them know that, hey, this is colloquial language that you use when you communicate, but in written form, you want to make sure that you are using the appropriate language, and that is not diminishing the cultural language, but also reinforcing academic language. So, my real classroom perspective, I have taught in Title I schools for the last few years at Sandy Lane Elementary School and now at John Hopkins Middle School. The students that I work with bring cultural brilliance, identity, and resilience. And AI must be able to interpret their diverse voices when giving feedback. So, my solution to the problem, an equity monitoring dashboard. This dashboard acts as an oversight tool for teachers. It identifies patterns that the AI may miss and helps ensure feedback is fair. So, for example, monitoring AI feedback for bias, tracks reading recommendations for equity. It would flag issues with dialect interpretation. It would support culturally responsive decision making. So, why does this solution matter? This solution matters because AI is becoming more influential in the classroom. We must protect cultural identity with digital learning. Students deserve an AI that sees them and feel them. I am the type of teacher who is always advocating for curriculum to look like my students, to honor their experiences, and for curriculum to have a place in their lives and for their lives to have a place in curriculum. I think that this also extends to the use of technology, especially with AI being used to check students' work and grade work and things of that nature. So this project would definitely matter. An inclusive AI model supports both teachers and students for smarter and more diverse learning. So, the AI application in the project. So, I examined how AI tools interpret real writing and reading data. Then, I simulated how the dashboard would detect issues. So, it would review AI generated writing feedback. It would analyze reading level suggestions. It would identify inconsistent patterns and simulate dashboard flags. On the screen is an example of an AI alert that it could give. For example, unusual pattern detected. Writing feedback for the student shows repeated flags on dialect phrases. Review recommended. So that way it would flag for the teacher, hey, I need to go back and make sure that this was flagged correctly. This project was shaped by my lived experience, teacher interviews, classroom needs. It has a design based research. It focuses on needs assessments in Title I settings. The prototype would be used to simulate data, and it would try to integrate fairness of culturally responsive teaching principles. Ethical considerations cannot be separated from equity. Students in marginalized communities deserve tools that respect their identity. Fairness and bias auditing must take place, transparency in AI decisions, privacy protection, cultural respect as a core value. The following are the sources that I use for my research foundations. My work is grounded in both cultural responsive theory and AI fairness research. So, my expected outcomes will be more equitable recommendations, increased teacher awareness, culturally affirming feedback, and stronger trust in AI tools. The dashboard will help teachers catch inequities early and support students more fairly. So, the impact it would have on students. I believe this project would protect the brilliance and identity my students bring into the room by avoiding penalizing dialect, supporting multilingual learners, preventing inequitable tracking, and overall, once again, this would protect their student voice. So, on the screen, you can see the following challenges that I believe might come or could come from this type of project. AI tools could contain bias, teachers could misinterpret data, there could be privacy concerns in Title I communities, and also uneven access across the schools. But some solutions to that, on the other hand, would be the ongoing audits and fairness checks, professional development and teacher training, transparent communication and data protection, and flexible platform compatible design. The challenges showed me where we could use more support, training, and transparency, and that all of those things were going to be essential in order for this to work. Some future directions that this proposal could take would be pilot testing in real classrooms, a teacher prep integration, developer collaboration, and more dialect aware features. This work could definitely expand teacher education and future technology design for a more progressive educational experience for students in Title I communities. In closing, as a Black woman and educator, this work is about protecting my students' voices. My identity shapes my approach. AI must honor culture because culturally responsive teaching always leads. Thank you for listening.